Hi everyone! In this video, we'll cover how to approach an unseen poem and analyze Bathing Off Roseland as an unseen poem. Firstly, how do you approach an unseen poem? You must first read the poem through 2 or 3 times. Each reading should make the meaning of the text clear. Annotate as you go, underlining interesting words or phrases. Is there a semantic field? Take a minute to think. What is the poem about? Consider the title. What does it tell you? Is there a story? Are there any characters? Is it a description of a place, person, time, situation, or object? Does it create a mood, feeling, or a memory? Is the poem thought-provoking or an experiment with language? What can you tell the poet's opinions or feelings or reasons for writing the poem? When you approach an unseen poem, you need to look for a bit more than just what it is about, and not just state your first thoughts. If you remember to smile, you'll have more confidence with the comments you make. Consider the structure of the text, the way the poem is set out. Take note of the mood or atmosphere of the poem, the imagery created in your mind as you read this poem. The notable use of language in the poem, the associations, denotations, connotations of the words or phrases. Finally, think about the effects created in the poem and include this in the explanation of your paragraphs. Before we analyze Bathing Off Roseland, let us review our assessment objectives that you can apply to an unseen poem. The first objective is to show detailed knowledge of the content of literary text supported by reference to the text. You need to be able to show you understand the details of a text and use quotations and indirect references to support your views or arguments when you answer the questions. The second objective is to understand the meanings of literary text and their contents, and explore text beyond surface meanings to show deeper awareness of ideas and attitudes. You should be able to understand the main ideas, settings, events, characters, appreciate the deeper implications of text, and understand the significance of parts of a text in relation to the whole text. The third objective is to recognize and appreciate ways in which writers use language, structure, and form to create and shape meanings and effects. You should explore how writers use language, structure, and form to convey impressions and ideas, how writers use language, structure, and form to present settings, characters, and events, and how writers use techniques to achieve specific effects for readers. The fourth and final objective is to communicate a sensitive and informed personal response to literary texts. You need to give a personal response to the question and text, and give an informed response by supporting your ideas with references to the text.
Now let us read through our chosen unseen poem, Bathing Off Roseland. The sea, that turns old bottles into gems, has made me of a bird. Now with all 4 wings outspread, I dip and hover, vacillate, recover, lulled and directionless, who on the cliff with conscious tread move to some purpose. It is a firmament that curves below, a clear capsicum green, a purple bloom of aubergine. Wayward and flippant, I am in my element, feeling the speed of the wheeling world and the sails careening above my head. I am sustained by powers not my own. As on the tide of prayer, another's love can sway me toward some good that of myself I would not, powerful, hidden to me, as the purpose which drives these great ships forward, parting the sea. Now that you have read or even reread the poem through, you should now be able to come up with points that go under the SMILE acronym: structure, mood, imagery, language, and effectiveness. Now, we will go through our ideas we came up with that go under the acronym. Firstly, let's touch on structure. The poem contains 3 stanzas. Each stanza contains 7 lines. The first stanza suggests how the sea makes the speaker as free as a bird. From this, the poet shows how much the sea makes her calm and at peace. The second stanza suggests how beautiful the sea is. She uses nature imagery using vegetables to describe the color of the sea. The third stanza suggests that this sea drift is meant to be temporary and that the poet discovers another's love, some good, and a purpose which was hidden to her before this experience of free drift. Secondly, let's move on to mood. Words like bird, outspread, loud, directionless, conscious, some purpose, wayward, flippant, speed, wheeling, above my head, powerful, purpose, parting, might hint at the atmosphere and mood created. The overall mood is easygoing and carefree. Thirdly, let's move on to imagery. For this segment, we have done some illustrations to aid you in brainstorming ideas for the imagery. The word sea outsets the ongoing sea theme. Bottles could suggest rolled up messages of maps of buried treasure in floating bottles or refer to broken fragments of glass. This may also be an eco-commentary on recycling. Gems are precious and valuable finds. Gems are prized for their beauty and affection. When you think of a bird, you think of a magnificent creature soaring through the sky with its wings outstretched. Lulled may refer to a baby being lulled to sleep. A cliff may be risky or dangerous. It is something to be taken cautiously. Treading is to walk about and over a path. Next, a firmament is the dome-shaped sky that we look up to. Clear capsicum green and purple bloom of aubergines could be counted as phrases of nature imagery as they are brightly colored vegetables describing the sea. Wheeling and careening are swimming, spinning, or flying movements. Above my head. Powers and prayer may refer to worshipping a higher power or another force. Another's love may be thought of as the love of this higher power or the love of another person. She brings back the sea theme in this line with great ships and parting the sea, which again is an allusion to Moses parting the sea. So we have lots of religious imagery in this stanza. Fourthly, we have language. We have alliteration in bottles, bird, cliff, conscious, clear, capsicum, wheeling, world, powers, prayer, as, another's, powerful, purpose, parting. For assonance, we have lulled, directionless, feeling, speed, wheeling, careening. For consonants, we have bottles, gems, hover, recover, capsicum, bloom, green, aubergine, flippant, element. Now for enjambment. When mentioning quotes that have been separated in lines without punctuation, you must remember to talk about that whole phrase. As for metaphor, the bird is the extended metaphor of the first stanza. For repetition, the word purpose is repeated in the first and third stanza. For allusion, parting the sea is an allusion to crossing the Red Sea, an episode in the Bible whereby Moses parts the sea. For contrast, lulled and directionless is juxtaposed with conscious and moved to some purpose, from a soothed adjective to concerned and motivated ones. Powers and prayer are the religious references in this poem. Finally, effectiveness. The abundance of alliteration and consonants in the poem gives a smooth flow to the poem to give the reader a more pleasant experience and enhances her bird-like freedom. The use of imagery throughout the poem allows the poem to be open to interpretation to the reader. It also helps the reader to visualize the writer's words and allows the writer to convey her message more effectively. The repetition throughout the poem shows the significance of the poet's points that she is trying to convey. The following are extra points that you may have thought of. The first line visualizes the transformative powers of the sea. The ongoing bird metaphor refers to the speaker's freedom or her return to nature. The four wings outspread alludes to her four limbs, linking to the four verbs following, describing her movement. The penultimate line might suggest that she does not align with a fixed and demonstrable path. The last line of the first stanza suggests that she is willing to enjoy the sea's embrace and to lose her sense of purpose. The prominent use of nature imagery in the second stanza compares the sea's shades to the brightly colored vegetables. Wayward and flippant demonstrates the writer's feelings of bird-like freedom. With feeling, speed, wheeling, careening, the active force of participles and consonant sounds captures her swimming and spinning movements along the tidal waters or the way seabirds wheel in the sky. Finally, the word purpose makes a comeback in the last stanza, finally showing us readers a sense of direction that the poet has been searching for.
Now that you have all these points, it's time for you to put them into words. In the exam, you will be given a question for your chosen text along with 3 guiding points you should use to answer the question. Take the question for this poem as, how does the poet memorably convey her experience of swimming in the sea? You are to consider the following 3 points: how the poet describes the sea, how she portrays herself while swimming, and how she describes her thoughts and feelings in the final stanza. You should answer these 3 dot points in 3 peel paragraphs with your own introduction and conclusion. Let us answer the first guiding point first, how the poet describes the sea. In this poem, the author describes the sea as majestic. The quote, "The sea that turns old gems into bottles," visualizes the transformative power of the sea. The old bottles may represent harm and pain, but the gems represent value and preciousness. This may imply that the sea takes away harm and brings light and happiness to people who discover these bottles, or even to take one's worries away. It also implies that the sea can change sorrowful memories to ones filled with joy. She also uses bright colors to describe the sea in the quotes, a clear capsicum green and purple bloom of aubergine, to show how eye-catching and breathtaking the sea is. It may also imply the shocking things that roam in the waters, since bright colors stand out to many people. In such a way, the author shows and describes how beautiful the sea is, and how wonderful her experience in the sea is. Now we answer the second guiding point, how the author portrays herself while swimming. The author portrays herself as a bird while swimming, as if the sea is her sky. The line, "now with all 4 wings outspread," refers to her 4 limbs she utilizes while swimming. The line after that, "I dip and hover, vacillate and recover, lulled and directionless," describes her movements while she swims. The word lulled symbolizes a baby, which in turn may represent how soothing and comfortable the water is for her and how calm it makes her feel. These lines show that the poet portrays herself as calm and collected. It also shows that the sea may be a place where she feels comforted and at home. The quote, "Wayward and flippant, I am in my element, feeling the speed," shows the sea is the author's place of relaxation and that she feels thrilled while swimming and feeling the speed of the water. Finally, the third guiding point, how the writer describes her thoughts and feelings in the final stanza. In the third and final stanza, the author portrays how the sea heals her pain and gives her hope for her life. The line, "Another love can sway me to word," shows that the sea brings her new love and gives her hope. This shows how much the author loves the sea. Also, in the next line, it says, "As the purpose which drives these great ships to word." The purpose is repeated again from stanza 1. The purpose repeated means that the author has finally discovered the purpose of love. This shows that the poet has experienced a wonderful time at the sea as she's able to discover what she had always wanted. In such a way, in stanza 3, the poet shows how much the sea is special to herself. Thank you for watching our guide for how to approach an unseen. We hope you have gained an understanding of what to do.